Hi, I am Maddalena Ragona, a research fellow at the Department of Statistics of the University of Bologna. Welcome to this webinar on improving communication during the food innovation process produced by the EU project Connect4Action. In this webinar, we will present the Connect4Action Toolbox, which aims to promote a common dialogue between different actors involved in the food innovation process and the accompanying training activities developed in the project. Connect4Action is a three-year project funded by the European Union aiming at improving communication between consumer scientists, food technology developers, consumers, and other key players in order to improve the success of food technology development and commercialization in Europe. Connect4Action brings together a multidisciplinary consortium comprising food technologists, consumer scientists, representatives of the food and drink industry, small and medium enterprises, and experts who work in between science and industry. In Connect4Action, we have developed a set of tools and training for key actors from food technologists to consumer scientists involved in the process of developing food innovations in order to enable an effective communication among them. In order to promote and apply these tools in an academic or industry context, two sets of trainings have been set up. All tools and trainings have been developed in close collaboration with the large stakeholder community that Connect4Action has created over the years of the project life to test and validate the ideas and their applicability in both academic and industry settings. The tools of the Connect4Action Toolbox are available on the Connect4Action website on a dedicated section. This is the list of tools included in the toolbox. Some of them are directly based on results of the research undertaken within the Connect4Action project, as the recommendations, the case studies, the steps for an effective communication plan, while some others were developed based on the expertise of the project consortium, like the early signaling guide, the wiki on consumer science and on food science and technology, the glossary of key terms, etc. Now let's go into each of them with some details. The recommendations for improved communication represent the basis of the Connect4Action Toolbox, as it summarizes the outcomes of all research undertaken in the project, including literature reviews and a two-step Delphi study. This figure illustrates the conceptual framework for improved communication, where the recommendations have been designed for internal and external communication and tailored to the various stages of the new technology and new product development process. With the case studies, we illustrate the innovation behavior as well as internal and external communication activities in various companies. Here we can see the example of two companies described in a comparative way. The early signaling guide is an adaptation of the ERIS system. ERIS stands for Emerging Risk Identification Support, and it was originally developed by TNO, a partner in Connect4Action, to support proactive risk management in food safety for industry and authorities. The ERIS system is a text mining and natural language processing module that is fed by customized queries that use deontology to discover relationships, like, for example, cause-effect relationships, in big volumes of documents from relevant data sources. This tool helps detect the negative or positive sentiment on emerging food technologies, but it can also detect more complex matters, such as the level of consumer acceptance of a novel technology. It is a valuable instrument in helping food specialists communicate about food technology and perceived risks or issues. This is a screenshot of the demo file produced by TNO to illustrate the potential of this tool. If we take an example, we see what kind of information we can obtain. The glossary provides definitions of key terms used in various disciplines involved in the food innovation process: consumer science, food science and technology, marketing, etc. The aim is to create a shared understanding of frequently used terms among different disciplines, especially between consumer scientists and food technologists. This glossary is a consolidation of existing lexica and can be continuously updated, thus growing organically and adapting to changes in technology and terminology. Taking the idea of the glossary a step further, the aim of this tool is to improve communication between consumer scientists and food technologists by creating a shared understanding of their disciplines. For this purpose, a short introductory video for the Wiki on food science and technology has been produced with Professor Brian McKenna and can be accessed via the project website. The Wiki on food science and technology is targeted at non-food technologists and provides a background on the historical development, describing basic processes and illustrating novel food technologies in simple terms. The Wiki on consumer science explains the principles of this science, the main empirical methods used in research, and possible application during the food innovation process. It is also revolved around questions like what can consumer science add to technology development, what types of questions can be answered with consumer science, and how can these questions be answered. The tool Steps for an Effective Communication Plan is designed to guide food companies in producing a technology or product-specific communication plan. It explains common steps, such as determining goals and objectives, identifying the target audience, and developing key messages. Reference to literature are provided to enable further reading on each step. This is an example of the kind of information that can be found with reference included. To ensure an active discussion on these tools and trainings, as well as a professional exchange of comments and ideas, a forum has been created, providing an opportunity for stakeholders to interact and network with each other. Based on these tools, training activities have been developed in order to help communicate issues around food technology development and commercialization of new food products. 2 sets of training have been developed to take into account the different requirements of an academic and an industry-based environment. One training is targeted at food industry professionals to be held as a one-day workshop, and the other training is targeted at young academics from various disciplines, like consumer science, food science and technology, food marketing, etc. This is the list of the training modules, where some of them describe the results obtained from the research activity of the Connect4Action project, and others go into the details of the most important tools of the toolbox. Each module gives room for interactive discussion and participation. For example, in the module on case studies, the discussion is revolving around the usefulness of the cases presented, the usefulness and accessibility of success versus failure stories, and real life versus fictional examples. The interactive part of this module is designed as group work, tasking participants to give suggestions on the structure, content, and data requirements for a case study to be really effective, and how this can be turned into a manual for companies to produce their own case studies, that is, failure stories they want to use for learning. After each group has presented their ideas, we can then work out recommendations for case studies, focusing on the requirements of good cases, adaptation to the company and its environment, and how companies can write their own cases to learn from. All training materials, including PowerPoint presentations, lists of references, group and individual tasks, as well as evaluation exercises, are collected on the Connect4Action e-learning center, which is hosted on the ISEKI Food Association platform. Access to the e-learning platform can be granted through contacting our Connect4Action project email address. With this, I conclude this webinar, and I thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye.